Hey Stampin' friends, Darlene with Darlene Stamps. Thanks for joining me today. I want to go through a couple of tips that I have learned that were helpful in doing production cards, especially when you're doing several pieces and you're trying to make a lot of cards in a short amount of time. This is one of the great things is our punches, because you can do them super fast. Dies are wonderful. These are like supernova. But Piece of Cake is the set that comes as a bundle. You save 10%. This is one of the samples that I will be showing, and then I'll demonstrate a different one. But let me just go right into it, because one of the things that I found is that the stamparatus, which you may or may not have, it's similar to a Misty. It's a positioning tool. Make some room here. So what I need to do first is I need to make a template. And then I'll show you why. This is just a bit copy paper, but I wanted it bright color. I don't want cardstock because it's a little bit thicker. I want it as flat as possible. Now I'm going to make my cut right there. Okay, and I just remembered I need to get my magnets out. These are super, I'm talking super strong, so they are not supposed to touch each other at all. All right, so I'm going to get my white paper down. I'm going to put my template down, and that's basically the first step. Then I want to put my little stamps right in the template, and I'll show you why in a minute. But this kind of gets my lineup, right? All right, now I'm just going to bring that over, and that comes up. Voila. Okay, now I'm going to remove my template, put down my magnets to hold my paper, and I'm going to use Memento because I want to be able to later color it. And our alcohol blender pens are wonderful because they actually don't bleed the image. All right, there. Now I did have this in. This is actually nice because when you have a boo-boo where didn't get enough ink, you can go back, stamp it again, and there you go. Now, this is my fun little trick here. I'm going to move my magnet up. I am going to move this down 2. So 1, 2. There we go. And I have the same position, the same stamp, and I'm going to hit that again. So this is basically the easiest part, because I'm going down 1, 2, 1, 2. And what's nice, I find, is that I normally don't make just a card. I mean, it may be a real special card. It's my magnet. Hold on. My magnet's a little too close. It may be a real special card, which is great. But if I'm trying to make a lot of cards, I need to find a fast way of popping out cards. Okay, now we are going to flip this around because I don't want to waste that paper. And put this down, put this back to station number 1, I'll call it. And I just got some Memento. You got to be careful and clean it off from your plastic because it can etch it. All right, then this is my last one. And there. Voila. Okay, so now I have 4 of those. All right, so let me clean off this real quick. Put this aside. I'm going to store magnets because they can get lost, they can touch other things, so we want to get that put away. Got it. All right, with me so far? Okay, so I just took, so you know, for size proportion, this is 2 7/8 in a 8.5 by 11. So it gives you the right proportion. Then I can, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop these and show you. So let's start with here, and literally 1, 2, 3, Turn it around. And 4. Anyhow, I now have beautiful pre-cut happy birthdays already done. Now I chose the this one. There's like a I'm not sure what kind of cake. I just had on top of my mind, like pound cake maybe. But then you have like a wedding and some flowers and some bubbles and birthdays and some like a ganache and then happy birthday. Happy birthday is kind of nice because you already had the sentiment already done. All right, and then it's neat because you can put either hearts on top, candles on top, little lollipops, or some flowers. So it kind of gives you some toppers that you can do. All right, let me cover my black. And let's go on to the next thing. Now, I've just done this, but let me show you, because I have then colored some before I popped them out, because I wanted to show you. And so did some coloring last night on this. So let me go ahead and now show you and do an actual sample. Okay, so we're going to use Bermuda Bay. And I've got to say that when I'm doing some of these cards, I was trying to find in my colors the blenders. Actually, you'll see this is my blender pin. See how nice that kind of just, I want it to bleed together and kind of run. These are my stamping right markers. They're fine. They just don't have any, they're solid colors. They don't have any blending whatsoever, which is fine. It just gives you a different thing. You'll find that it does bleed through. Even though our cardstock is extra thick, these types of pins, alcohol markers, they do bleed. And then I used my blends with my two-tone silver. It kind of gives it a hue like it's real. But when I was going through and wanting to make a sample, I just pulled some old DSP, and then I found it challenging because I was trying to match the pins I had. So let's just go from scratch and get this taken care of and start. So, and I wanted to remind you too, I keep my tailor punch on my work surface because you never know when you are going to have a solid piece of cardstock that you need to save. I say save because if I'm covering it up, which we're not today, but if you are covering it up, you tend to waste that cardstock, and I don't like waste. Okay, so that covers a lot of our base. You can have, because it's white as the base and then I have white as the cardstock, sometimes if you wanted it to pop more, then you would use one of the striped colors as your base, but we're just going to use this for now. And then I'm using one of our foil doilies. So again, super simple, and I'm going to put that right in the middle. And then I took one of the colors, which is crushed curry, out of the swatches. That's going in there. And then I want to pop out one of my cakes. And like I said, I've already done the work as far as the coloring, and I want it to pop. So we are going to put our dimensional. So I have two different sizes. I have the minis, which we'll use for the base, and they fit really nice and perfect. So I have one for the top part of the base, one for the bottom, and then I want to use the little bigger ones for the top part of the cake. Anyhow, have you found that sometimes you get up and, you know, there's not a whole lot of drama going on. There's not a lot of things that are happening, but there's just a oomph that's missing. Well, I had that this morning, and I find that putting a creative twist on your day, whether it's exercising, I did my devotions, but sometimes it just takes a little bit more. Have you found that? Okay, so, all right, so now I've got to get my little hearts on, and I am just going to stack them. Now I need, hold on, I just remembered, I need one to be popped up. So because I want to be able to, it's the same size as the cake. So in order to kind of stack this a little higher, oops, I need some oomph. Okay, oops, it went off. Okay, try it again. There we go. Okay, so now I can kind of build on it. Because I want it to be like, oh, several of them. There we go. And then one down here because it fell off. It kind of looks like it fell off. Okay. I like using the, this could almost be used for St. Patty's Day. Man, I was a genius and didn't even know it. Okay, and let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I want to stop because we want to stay with an odd number. Okay, there, simple, simple, and it has a wow because of that. I like the wow because of the silver. Anyhow, so that is the idea, that is the demonstrating, and then I wanted to do a little bit of, what do you think? If I do, yeah, that might add some more green to that. So let's put this in. I keep my roll, I keep my ribbon on the roll so that I don't waste. So as I'm cutting, and I don't think I'm going to do a bow, I'm just going to do a quick tie off, is that I can keep my length. So if I know where I'm at, do my little knot. Then what happens is that I can cut and not have a lot of waste. I try not to have too much on the waste factor. I need my scissors. There we go. They're ribbon scissors. Okay, and let's see. Let's put it this way. I'm doing it because I want when you do your point, you kind of want your point to be opposite. Okay, so see, didn't that just add a little bit there? Now I want to do, so I want this to stay in place. So I'm going to put a glue dot. Move some things away here, sorry. All right, let's put a glue dot underneath the bow. That kind of will keep it from wiggling around and moving and such. So. There, but didn't that make that green just come alive? Okay. So now, let me show you some other cards I made with this neat set. Okay, so there's that one. And of course you saw this one. This one kind of could be a guide. Again, this is old designer paper, DSP, and this is basically second generation. So there's your first stamp, and then just directly stamp above it, and then the third one. Same stamp. I did not stamp again. It's just the ink coming off, but it kind of makes that variegated. Ha! Okay, so there's that one. And then let me show you on this one. It's kind of fun. Again, old designer paper, and I did them different. And here is my oops. So when I was cutting out the scalloped oval, I grabbed the wrong one, and so it was supposed to be on the outside. And you know, when you're doing cards with someone, they don't know that you did it wrong. So anyhow, my idea was that I would still use it. It still gives me the scallop, and I just put the ivory on the base. And then I just used the different dots to do that. But you see how we used the candles, we used the little suckers, and I did not pop up the cake, but I popped up the oval. Okay, and the idea that I saw had black as the outline layer, but that was too harsh, I thought, for this nice coastal kind of birthday. Okay, so there's that. And then another one was this one, and just using the Bermuda Bay, the glimmer paper. And same style. You see one says party on, one says let's celebrate. Same style, just different sentiment. So another way of utilizing the card idea and the punch. And then, of course, because I'm covering the glimmer paper and this is important paper, I just made some punches out of the underneath to salvage that and use that. So there's another aspect. Now here's one I wanted to describe or explain. So I used just our brick folder, embossing folder, and I liked the paper, that the ribbon matches the paper. But you know, one of the things I like about Stampin' Up! Is that when a card like this looks nice, you see a card and go, oh, that looks so neat, because the colors are going to match. And my blue, I just made a little darker than this blue in here, but I'm just saying that the colors match, the ink matches, the paper, and so forth. Here is where I did not have Tranquil Tide as I have it as my ink, but I didn't have a blender pen of it. So you can see, this is it's a nice card, but for me being using Stampin' Up! And their idea, their suggestions, and so forth, this would not have been the color choice that I would have been. Now this is Calypso Coral, and Calypso Coral is in here, but you see the Melon Mambo is the color of choice, and that would have been great to have on here. The green would have been better than the olive green. So you can see it's a nice card, but the blend is just a little bit off, but I wanted to show an example of that, of how important it is. So anyhow, this is all I've got. I hope that this has inspired you. This is in the occasions catalog for the bundle, and that's with the punch and the stamp. You save 10% when you get it. At the end of this month is when the celebration ends, but as you put an order in, if it's over 50, you get a free stamp set. So just something to think about. And one last thing, if you sign up Paper Pumpkin before the 10th, so today's March 7th, so 3 more days to actually getting the Paper Pumpkin, because there's going to be a second set. It's just their anniversary, so you're going to get two Paper Pumpkin, I say that 4 times fast, sets. So anyhow, enjoyed this time together, having fun with birthdays and punches and doing things. Hope it's been an encouragement to you. Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon.